No, I don't live in London, as much as people assume that I do because I work for a left-wing media organisation, or with a left-wing media organisation, I should say. But I am well aware of the fact that most Londoners are currently aware of that there are tube strikes at the moment. Because of course there are, because RMT are very famous at getting good terms and conditions for their workers, because they use industrial action the way that it should be used, i.e. to be able to bargain for better pay and conditions when you know that your jobs are central to the running of the economy. Someone who doesn't realise, apparently, that the workers are integral to the running of London, especially transport workers, is Kirstie Allsopp. She is the daughter of the 6th Baron Hindlip, which I promise you is a real person and a real name. I'm sorry, the UK is a joke country, that Charles Baron Hindlip is an actual real name. Anyway, she is his daughter, and she is somebody who works in property, who presented the property program location. She went to private school. She's incredibly posh, and I fucking hate her. She is literally the worst person on Twitter, and all she does is run her mouth off, just continually forgetting that she is from absolute gigantic amounts of privilege. Huge amounts of privilege, right? So here she is, getting mad at the strikes. In hospital, just listening to a nurse discuss his very difficult journey to work this morning, perhaps one of the striking tube drivers might want to do a job swap for the day. And I'm like, well, maybe if the nurses had actually not capitulated when they were engaging in industrial action, they would get paid better. Because, of course, both the nurses and tube drivers, as this tweet actually underlies, are integral to the running of the economy and of society and should be remunerated pretty fairly and have good shifts. So it's not just pay that the tube workers are striking for, it is for better conditions, because a lot of them have to work at nights. They're looking for a more reasonable work schedule where they work fewer days because they're working night shifts. That's the whole point of industrial action, is to increase your terms and conditions. And on top of this, it's not just the drivers that are striking. It's very few tube drivers that are striking. There are lots of maintenance workers and other kind of clerical workers within the entire tube network who are also striking for better pay, and most of them earn under the median wage. Most people represented by the RMT earn under £35,000 a year. It is not just the tube drivers. We all like to talk about train drivers when it comes to industrial action. We very rarely talk about all the other people that help the functioning of the rail system. And maintenance workers are really important. And they also have to work very, 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 very unsociable hours, including a lot of night shifts, because that's the time when the tubes themselves aren't running. And they should get better pay and conditions, and should also get much more friendly working weeks as well. They have to do loads of overtime, as you point out in chat, Vicky, that causes them lots of stress. And having stressed, overworked, and overtired, and fatigued train drivers does not make for a particularly good and safe system. The same is, of course, true of nurses, and they should hold people to ransom, quite frankly, more often than the RMT do, because they are just as integral to the functioning of society and don't get remunerated quite nearly enough as they do. Some nurses use food banks at time of recording, and the government should really be paying nurses more, but I digress. The point is here is she's trying to pit worker against worker rather than worker against boss, because of course she doesn't want to put worker against boss, because she is a member of the bourgeois and the aristocracy. As has been pointed out by one of my followers, in fact, in chat, saying, please understand, Katie, that I am very much having a dig at you here when I tell you that the children of aristocracy should shut their fucking mouths about the collective action of the working class. Very true. Very, very true. Then has a go at this user for using a pseudonym online. Again, like, most people don't want to show their real name online, myself included. I try and keep it as secret as possible because I want to maintain safety, but whatever, that doesn't really make any difference. So they call themselves Charles Allsopp, 6th Baron Hindlip, in the replies. And they made this really important point. I suggest you start respecting the collective will of working class people rather than smearing them from a position of immense privilege. They just want to be paid well, plus work under decent conditions. This is their only way of achieving those things. Have some respect, chicken shit, which is quite funny. That was my father's name. He died last year, but you know that. You could never hope to be the clever, funny, enigmatic person he was. Bravo for being any more unpleasant type of coward than I thought you were. I mean, again, this whole point is about your level of privilege that she clearly won't recognise in this discussion. The user then points out the fact that their father was a member of the working class, not the aristocracy, and it's people like Charles Hindlip that exploited men like him and led to an early death. And then she has a go and saying that his hard work and courage didn't set an example for this person here. So it's clear that she's rattled, and she's been getting dragged in the replies, obviously, which is excellent. Pointed out here by another friend of the show, Cloddy. Absolutely rotten response to this earnest explanation of the difference between your life and the life of someone who died because of the way people like you treat those that you see as beneath you. I expect less than nothing from you, and I'm still disappointed. Learn shame. I have never and will never bow to abusive cowards who hurl abuse from behind fake names and fake profiles. My dad has nothing to do with this, yet this coward used his name in mockery. No, it's not your dad as a person, it is his role in society. It is his class position that is now your class position as a child of the aristocracy, and a landlord, of course, which is important here. This is a discussion of class, right? It's not attacking your dad for whatever your dad did outside of his class position, but it's your relationship because of the fact that you're the children of aristocracy that is being scrutinized here. Also, a very interesting point here that the fact that cowards with fake profiles can bite back at her because now there is an open space to scrutinize people does lead to people like Kirstie Allsopp getting very mad that now they don't just get treated as though all of their opinions are with merit, when quite frankly, literally zero of Kirstie Allsopp's opinions have any merit whatsoever. She is a unique purveyor of the worst takes imaginable. So let's just go through highlights, shall we? So first of all, she wants to defend people getting taxed on expensive houses because it will torpedo the housing market, i.e. make it harder for people to be able to turn a profit by using property as a speculative vehicle. She previously got mad about people working from home, saying that it was ruining the mental health of young people, when in fact young people overwhelmingly support the idea of working from home. And she is somebody who fucking walks around houses all day. I'm sorry, again, daughter of 6th Baron Hindlip, you don't get to tell working people what's best for us. People who have actual jobs, who actually contribute to society. Of course, I don't, I'm a YouTuber, but my viewers do, and I think they are taking some level of opposition to your desire to stop people from being able to work in the situations that they would rather work in when they're working from home, which workers overwhelmingly support, and it makes them more productive as well. So get a real job, Kirstie, before you start getting mad at one of the very, very few things that workers have gained in recent times. Given we've had a stripping away of workers' rights, we've had the introduction of the gig economy, there have been precious few wins for the working conditions of working people in this country. Work from home is one of the very few wins that we've managed to gain because of the necessity of the pandemic, and she still wants to take it away. She still wants to take that away from working people in this country. She's also got mad at the inheritance tax on multimillionaire farmers that we've talked about already on stream. Yes, people should pay inheritance tax. There are already carve-outs, like people getting mad at the change to agricultural property relief are getting mad that multimillionaires are paying closer to the same inheritance taxes as everybody else. Not the same, of course, because the family farm tax, as it's being dubbed by people like Kirstie Allsopp, right? The change in inheritance tax for farmers is still more generous than the rest of everybody else. People who don't have millions of pounds in assets pay a higher rate than farmers that do. Farmers have a 50% discount because of agricultural property relief. That means their inheritance tax rate is only 20%, rather than everybody else's 40%, and the threshold where they start paying it, for example, a couple passing down a farm, is £3 million, which is more than triple the threshold for everybody else. Whilst I admit farmers work hard, most people who aren't weirdo property people like you, Kirstie, actually do work hard. But it's interesting how, when it comes to tube drivers and maintenance workers on the railways, suddenly those people who do regular jobs where they sell their labour for a wage are not of your concern about how hard they work, rather than people who are getting taxed on assets that they are inheriting. So it's weird how her definition of working bloody hard should be levelled only at people inheriting large assets and not people who sell their labour for a wage continually. Especially those who are working in maintenance for the RMT, who still earn under median wage and are asking for better working conditions. And yet, the worst take of hers is that she is one of the people who tells young people that they can get onto the housing ladder if they just cancel Netflix and gym memberships and stop the avocado toast and drinking the lattes. Oh, she's one of those people. The worst people, the most irritating people in society are the ones who work in property. Her job is working in property, quite frankly, and she should know that the disparity between house prices and wages is the biggest that it's ever been in this country, especially in the post-war period, right? She should know how hard it is to own a house. She should know how hard it is to be able to make the money necessary to be able to afford a deposit. But she's so insulated, given the fact that she went to private school and her dad is filthy rich and a member of the aristocracy, that she's so completely detached from the reality of normal people in this country that she still doesn't know, despite her job is working in property, that it's impossible for working class people to be able to get on the property ladder, given how expensive houses are at the time. She's so blinkered and sheltered from the reality of working people. It's so infuriating, because these people are 10 a penny, and they're all over the media. They are all over the media. You literally cannot move for people like Kirstie Allsopp being given gigantic platforms that they don't fucking deserve to spout uninformed bullshit that irritates everybody. And you better believe, given that she went to private school herself, she was mad that mental poshos like her are going to have to pay VAT on private school fees. Again, with a very few good policies of the Labour government. But of course, we can't make the rich people pay their fair share. That's the politics of envy. That's taxing education. That's tough shit. Go to state school if you don't want to pay it. Simple as that. You want a privilege? Pay the privilege. With the vast amounts of wealth that the vast majority of people have who send their kids to private school. What's funny as well, chat, is I had this whole Kirstie Allsopp segment planned before the stream. I had all of the little links up in my thing. And I was just browsing my Twitter feed, and then I came across this genuine tweet, given what we've spoken about already today. I'm a huge Mandelson fan, and I hope he survives this, but he is the most astute people person, and he knew those girls were not family friends. So let me get this straight. It seems like to me, correct me if I'm wrong, Kirstie, I would like to have the record corrected if so, that she's saying here that she thinks that Peter Mandelson knew that girls were potentially being procured for less than reputable reasons by Jeffrey Epstein, and yet she still calls herself a Peter Mandelson fan and hopes that he survives this. Again, this is the revelations we found that Peter Mandelson was mentioned in the Epstein birthday book. I mean, I also know that he sent a message to Jeffrey Epstein when he was charged, after he was charged with soliciting children for prostitution in the 2000s, saying that he was very sorry that it was happening and that everyone who loves him would stand with him. You couldn't make it up. You genuinely did not think it possible that Kirstie Allsopp would be even worse as a judgment of character, but there you go, there you go. So I hope you enjoyed that chat. I didn't know why I wanted to pick on Kirstie Allsopp today, but she just kept coming up on my feed as someone who really fucking irritates me, so there you go. Consider you roasted, Kirstie. Hey there, if you enjoyed the video, make sure that you like and leave a comment. That helps the video out in the algorithm. If you subscribe and ring the bell, it'll let you know when I go live. I stream every day on YouTube and Twitch. You can also follow all of my socials down in the description. And if you want to support me in a more financial manner, there's a join button for membership. It's just 99p to be a member on YouTube, as well as a Patreon, and there's some merch there as well. And hopefully I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.